It's been 400 years of slavery and oppression. The shackles are broken, and we learned our lesson. Leaving the land of the free and the home of the brave. Dry bones in the valley, coming out of the grave. I'm going home. Yes, I am.
Hello, ladies and gents, family. Just wanted to talk to you, have a heart-to-heart with you regarding some things that I think are extremely important for you to consider, and rightfully so. We named this vlog "Experience is the Best Teacher," primarily because we started our vlogs in September when we were still in the States. And although there were some things that we knew, there were some things that we didn't know. There were some things that we didn't even know to consider. Okay? And so those are some of the things that I want to talk about on today. But first, I want to give you a recap of how we got here. We decided in September that we wanted to move to Africa. We had been talking about it before then, but we got very serious in September. Our plan originally was to move before the election in the States. And it didn't quite happen like that because although we make plans, sometimes life happens. And when life happens, you just have to roll with the punches, make the adjustments, and continue to move forward. Okay? But, if you look back in some of our vlogs, you'll kind of see. But I want to really make it clear some of those things that started to happen. The first thing that we decided to do was decide whether we were going to keep all of our stuff or ship it, right? And so we decided on selling our furniture, and the items, and just really bringing necessities, primarily because we didn't have a lot of finance to spend on trying to ship things. So what we did was we got a storage. We put the items that we wanted to keep in that storage. We packed the items that we wanted to take, which was basically necessities, okay? And we sold the rest of the stuff. We used OfferUp to sell those items. Then we started working on passports. My wife needed to get her name changed from her maiden name to her married name on her passport, and our two kids didn't have their passports at all. So we went through an ordeal with that, Never take what an individual says. When you set your mind to establish something, go ahead and set your mind, and never take what an individual says if it's something that is discouraging in terms of you accomplishing your goal. All right? Why? Because the post office told us it was going to take 90 days or more for our children's passports to come back. I put my son and daughter passport in along with my wife. I got my son's back first in 30 days. I got my daughter's back a little after that. Of course, according to the vlogs, we had to send it back because of a hairpiece that she had on. And she wasn't able to, completely be identified by them. So we sent that back. We got that back in a week. We bought our tickets in faith before we got our passports, so what happened was my wife's passport ended up coming back the same week that we were supposed to leave, which created an issue because we needed to get our visas, and our visas was going to have to be turned around in a couple days, which would have cost us $1,000. Well, I heard from a friend that we could get visas in Gambia for a lot cheaper. it was $250 to get those visas turned around, times 4, which is $1,000. We were able to save $1,000 because we found that out, that Gambia gives visas on this end. So we got visas on this end for $60 per visa. $60 per visa. I think with everything, it cost us about $360 US. Okay. So we didn't have to worry about that. The other issue and hurdle that we had was the COVID test, right? And so they were going to try to charge us $1,000 for the COVID test to get them within the time frame that we needed to have them, which was 72 hours. Okay, so basically they have a rule now to where you can't fly unless you show proof that you've taken a COVID test that came out negative within 72 hours of you leaving, right? So we ended up finding a place that was able to do the COVID test for free. So we saved another $1,000 on that. However, we did not get our results back within the time frame. In fact, we showed up at the airport and were denied taking our flight because our test results had not come back at that time. I think we took our test results on a Tuesday. We were leaving on a Thursday. When I got the message back in my phone from the company, they were saying that they were just now testing it. So we had to reschedule. And let me make this note. When you buy your tickets, I think it cost us $3,900 for 4 individuals, 2 adults, 2 kids, to fly over here. But something told me to get, well, the Most High, I'm not going to say something, the Most High told me to get insurance on my tickets so that in case there needed to be a change in scheduling, that it would not cost me, it would already be covered. I heeded to the Most High, and I'm glad that I did, because it would have cost me $2,500 in addition to the $3,900 that I spent on my tickets to change the tickets. We had to reschedule because our COVID test ended up coming 3 hours after we were supposed to already be on the plane flying. So we rescheduled for the next day. COVID test came, and we were able to leave out that very next day. When I got to the airport in Jambo, when we arrived in Banjul, we ended up having to stay at the airport for 4.5 hours because what we did not consider, again, experience was teaching us that we should have taken care of how we were going to be able to use our service when we got here, our phone service. So my service was out, which means that I could not access my COVID test. So they would not allow me to leave the airport until I was able to prove to them that my COVID test turned out negative. All right, so that's something else you want to consider. If you want to get extra minutes, whatever it is you want to do when you touch down, or if you want to get your COVID test results on paper, that'll be easier. Okay, so we went through that process. It cost about $360 in all, and we were able to do what we needed to do to get out of there. All right. We went to a guest house, which is kind of equivalent to what we would call a hotel in the States. It was a very nice place. We stayed there for 2 weeks because they were charging $600 a month for individuals to stay there. That was a little steep for me, considering that we did not have a whole bunch of time before we actually came to save up. So I paid for 2 weeks, which was $300. And in that 2-week period, we looked for a place to stay, a permanent place, because our plan was we were going to get our land, while we were living in a permanent place. Okay, we scratched all of that, and we decided to just concentrate on looking for a place. We finally found a place. So experience is a teacher. Would I have done things differently? Of course. Now I know that through experience, but the most important thing is that there are 2 different types of teachers. Okay, it's the hard way or the easy way, whichever way you want to take it. You can go the hard way and learn it for yourself, or, which is a teacher, or you can learn from somebody who's already gone through it. Okay? The purpose for people who have already gone through it sharing with you is so that you don't have to go through the pain, the discomfort, and the uncertainty that comes with having things come and knock your plan off from where you wanted it to be. Okay? So the best way is to learn from someone who has already gone through with it. And that's why I titled this, Experience is the Best Teacher. Okay? Another thing, I don't care who you are depending on this end. If you have somebody here or if you don't have anybody here, have your plan in place. As much as you can be in control, be in control. Let the Most High lead you, but already have a plan. So you don't have to depend on people to do anything for you. Okay? Because I'll tell you this, Gambia works on a different timeline than we do, or anybody from the diaspora, right? Okay? There's a lot less stress here for individuals that live here, right? Which means that they're not in a hurry to get things done, okay? So understand that when you're waiting on rides, when you're waiting on people to come pick you up, those kinds of things, just understand that they're working on their own time, and that what's important to you may not be as important to them, okay? And rightfully so. Also, people have lives. They have things that they need to do, okay? So those are the things that you have to consider. All of those things you want to consider when coming to Gambia. Now, there may be a part 2 to this because we're still experiencing, and experience is still teaching us, things that we were not prepared for, okay? So if there is a part 2, I'll come back with a part 2, and I'll share with you how that goes, okay? One last thing that I want to suggest to you is that make sure that you go to the bank and make it very clear to them that you are going overseas and you're going to need to access your funds, because that was another thing. We were not able to access all of our funds because I believe that the bank on your side works on a different server than the bank on this side. So sometimes you can't even access the actual website. Okay, and then if you want to transfer money from a diaspora bank to Africa, what you're going to have to do is going to take 3 days in order for that to happen, and they're going to charge you at least $179 per transfer. Okay, so these are things that we learned the hard way. I want to make it easy for everybody that's trying to come to the continent, and that's why I'm doing this vlog, so it can run smoother with you and you won't have to go through the uncertainty and the stress that we had to go through. All right, family, I'm going to keep on being your ears and your eyes here, okay? Is there reason not to come? No. It is beautiful over here, and you can build a wonderful life over here, okay? But it doesn't compare to where you are now, trust me, all right? So have a wonderful day, and we may come back with part 2. I'll let you know if we do so. But thanks for chiming in, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.
Don't miss the next episode of Going Home with Erick and Nicole.